Hey y'all, it's Indigo with the purple hair. I just threw my wig on today. I just threw it on. I was just so excited to get here to tell y'all this story, okay? Hey Curious Collective, I'm Indigo and welcome back to Tales and Tangents, where every story leaves something behind. A lesson, a question, a laugh, a warning, sometimes all four. Okay, let's get into it. As I mentioned, I just threw my wig on today quickly, so excuse if you see a little edge, okay? Today's story is called The Hiker Who Disappeared on a Trail Fitted with 14 Cameras. Okay, we're about to find out what that's about. And this is a mystery thriller. We're going to be on the edge of our seats, okay? So here we go. The Ridgeline Trail in Vermont is not a wilderness. That's good to hear. So it's not a wilderness. It's maintained, popular. Okay. It's a maintained, popular 11-mile hiking route with parking at both ends, a ranger station at the midpoint, and 14 motion activated cameras installed at regular intervals throughout the hiking trail. So on a Saturday in July, a 44-year-old man named Patrick signed in at the trailhead at 8:14 a.m. He told the volunteer he expected to be back by 2 p.m. and he walked into the tree line. I don't know what that means. If you hike, you probably do, but it says that. He told the volunteer he'd be back at 2 and then he walked into the tree line. So the cameras recorded him reaching the midpoint at 10:47 a.m. They recorded him stopping to eat lunch on a flat rock at 11:22 a.m. They did not record him again, not walking forward, not doubling back, not leaving the trail in any direction. He was simply there and then he wasn't. And nobody has been able to explain it. So what happened? What happened? If you stare at the camera and you're watching, what happened? They say he was just there and he wasn't. That's bizarre. That's wild. So Patrick's wife called the ranger station at 4 p.m. when he hadn't returned. By 6 p.m., a search team was deployed. By the following morning, it had expanded to include dogs, a drone unit, and 40 volunteers. They found his backpack propped neatly against a tree 200 meters past the lunch rock, the rock that he was having lunch on. So it was off trail, but not far from there. The contents was intact. His water bottle was still mostly full. His sandwich was uneaten, and there was a waterproof jacket and his keys. So he didn't even eat the lunch. He didn't even get to eat his lunch. That's wild. So no phone. He left it at home, which is his wife's, his car keys. No phone. He left that. So the crazy thing is that he didn't have a phone. He didn't bring his phone with him. He left it at home, which his wife confirmed, which was typical for him. He liked he liked the disconnection. He said when he go hiking, he want to go hike. He don't want, to be contacted, which is extremely bold for him because no, I'm not leaving my phone. Like, what about after the hike? Yeah, you going hiking, but you got to get to the hike. What about before and after? Whatever. Unfortunately, they did not find Patrick. They never found him. The camera footage was reviewed frame by frame by the state police and later by an independent analyst hired by Patrick's own family. Camera 8, positioned 60 meters past the lunch rock, recorded Patrick walking toward it at 11:41 a.m. Visible for a clear 4-second window, and it was good image quality. Identifiable by the red jacket. And it was It was a good image quality, and they could identify him by the red jacket he was wearing. He had that jacket on. So camera 9, 180 meters further along the trail, never recorded him. The gap between camera 8 and camera 9 is 180 meters of open, maintained trail with no significant tree cover, no branching paths, no terrain feature that would have allowed a person to like leave the trail undetected and just go out of the camera's view. Both cameras were functioning correctly. The timestamps are continuous. There's no gap in the recording. Between camera 8 and camera 9, Patrick Veal just disappeared. So for like that split second when he was going between the camera views, he just disappeared. That is bizarre. Investigators have proposed and variously dismissed several explanations. A medical episode doesn't account for the absence of a body and an area searched repeatedly. That's true. A voluntary disappearance doesn't account for the untouched backpack. Foul play has been investigated and no suspect or evidence has emerged. A former ranger speaking on a podcast noted that the stretch between camera 8 and 9 had generated a disproportionate number of reports of disorientation from hikers. So people describe losing track of time, losing the path in simple terrain, emerging from that section confused about how they've been walking. So it's been a lot of funny business between camera 8 and camera 9, basically. No geological or atmospheric explanation has been found. The ranger described it carefully and with clear discomfort as simply the stretch that doesn't behave. Patrick has been missing for 3 years. His wife hasn't given up. She walks the trail once a year, always stopping at the lunch rock where the cameras last saw him eating. She says she doesn't go on to look for him. She knows he isn't there. She goes because she needs to stand in the last place where he existed in the world. 14 cameras, 11 miles, perfect footage, right up until the moment it wasn't. Some disappearances don't give you an ending. They give you a question you carry for the rest of your life. That was a good one. I wouldn't give up either, though. You know, it's like, what can you do when authorities have checked everything and they just have no answers? It's just the case remains open until it becomes a cold case. And, you know, my heart goes out to those who have to deal with that and they don't have closure. You just have to create your own and, you know, say your regards to that person, send your wishes and your love, and move on. Always remember them. Always hold them in your heart and be open if they ever return or you ever find them. But if you could not give up and if you have to keep looking, then do that. You know, you have those resources, do that. So what would you have done? Tell me in the comments, all right? Stay curious and remember the next tale is always around the tangent. See y'all later.